What if I told you the life you dream about is not waiting for the perfect moment? It's waiting for the moment you stop making excuses. Stay with me until the end, because the final lessons will completely change the way you see effort, discipline, and your own potential. Let me begin with something honest, something many of us don't like to admit. Excuses are incredibly seductive. They whisper to us softly, politely, almost lovingly, convincing us that waiting a little longer is reasonable, that delaying our effort is understandable, that the world somehow owes us the perfect conditions before we give our best. But here's the truth I want you to really sit with. For a moment, excuses are quieter than your dreams. Yet they are far more dangerous. Your dreams shout from deep inside your heart. They wake you up at night. They make you imagine a bigger life, a stronger version of yourself, a future filled with meaning. But excuses, they speak in calm, logical sentences. You're tired today. You don't have enough resources. Maybe next month will be better. And because they sound so reasonable, we listen to them. I remember meeting young people across the world who were brilliant, talented, full of potential, but stuck in a loop of explanations for why they hadn't started yet. One said he needed the right equipment first. Another said she was waiting until her confidence improved. Someone else believed success belonged only to people with connections. And I listened carefully, because behind every excuse, there was actually something deeper. Fear, self-doubt, the quiet terror of failing in front of the world. But here's the powerful realization that changed my perspective completely. Excuses are not shields that protect us from failure. They are chains that quietly lock us into the life we already have. Imagine a bird standing at the edge of a cliff. Its wings are strong. Its instincts are ready. The sky is wide open. But the bird keeps saying, maybe the wind isn't perfect today. Maybe tomorrow will be safer. Maybe I'm not ready to fly. If that bird keeps waiting for perfection, it will never discover the very thing it was born to do. And we do the same in our lives. We postpone the gym until next week. We delay the business idea until we feel more prepared. We wait to pursue our dream career until someone gives us permission. But life rarely rewards waiting, it rewards courage in motion. And let me share something deeply spiritual here. The universe has a mysterious way of responding to action, not intention. When you move, even imperfectly, doors begin to appear that you never knew existed. But when you sit still, wrapped in excuses, even the doors that were open slowly begin to close. I've seen this truth again and again. I've seen people with extraordinary talent lose years of their lives negotiating with their own fears, while others with half the talent but double the determination move forward and transform their entire reality. The difference is rarely intelligence and almost never luck. It's the decision to stop explaining and start doing. Think of excuses like comfortable pillows placed along the path of your dreams. They make it easy to lie down, to rest, to postpone the climb. But every minute you stay there, the mountain grows steeper and the distance to your goal becomes longer. The moment you recognize this, something powerful shifts inside you. You realize that every excuse you remove becomes a step forward. Every moment of effort becomes a declaration to the universe. I'm serious about the life I want. And trust me, once that shift begins, everything changes. The way you wake up in the morning, the way you see challenges, the way you approach your goals. Suddenly, obstacles stop looking like walls and start looking like training grounds. And if this idea is already stirring something inside you, stay with me, because the lessons ahead are even more powerful. In fact, The next insights will challenge the way you think about effort, discipline, and resilience in ways that might completely transform your mindset. Don't miss them, because what comes next reveals why hard work has a language of its own, a language that the world always understands. And if you truly want to break free from the cycle of excuses, the upcoming lessons will give you the clarity and strength to do exactly that. So stay until the final points, because that's where the real transformation begins. There is a language in this world that every culture understands, every industry respects, and every dream eventually depends on. And that language is hard work. You don't need to translate it. You don't need to translate it. You don't need permission to speak it. And you certainly don't need the perfect background to begin using it. Hard work is the most honest conversation you can have with your future, because unlike promises, intentions, or wishful thinking, effort leaves evidence. It leaves footprints. Think about the way a sculptor approaches a block of stone. When someone else looks at that rough piece of marble, they may see nothing but a heavy rock, something ordinary and unremarkable, but the sculptor sees possibility. Day after day, strike after strike, dust fills the air, and tiny pieces fall away. At first, nothing seems to change. If you walked into the studio after the first few hours, you might think the effort is pointless. Even after days, the transformation still looks small. But the sculptor keeps working, not because the progress is dramatic in the moment, but because every strike is shaping something invisible beneath the surface. And then one day, the statue emerges. That's exactly what hard work does in our lives. It chips away quietly at the raw stone of who we are, revealing strength, discipline, and capability we didn't even know existed. The challenge is that in today's world, we are constantly shown the final statue, but rarely the years of chiseling that created it. We see success stories in headlines, but we don't see the early mornings, the sleepless nights, the repeated failures, the endless practice that built the foundation. When I first began navigating new spaces in my career, there were moments when everything felt uncertain. New environments, new expectations, and sometimes even the quiet pressure of wondering if I truly belong there. But every time doubt appeared, there was only one response that ever worked: work harder, not out of fear, but out of commitment to growth. Because hard work has a way of introducing you to parts of yourself that comfort never will. It reveals your resilience. It strengthens your patience. It teaches you how to keep moving, even when applause is absent and recognition feels far away. And let me share something deeply powerful here. Hard work is a form of faith. It's a quiet declaration that even when you cannot yet see the results, you believe the effort matters. Farmers understand this better than anyone. When they plant seeds in the soil, they don't stand there demanding instant fruit. They water the ground, nurture the earth, and trust the process. Weeks pass, sometimes months, before anything visible appears. But beneath the soil, life is already unfolding. Roots are stretching, strength is forming, preparation is happening in silence. Your effort works the same way. Every hour you invest in learning, every time you push yourself when it would be easier to quit, every moment you choose discipline over distraction, something is growing beneath the surface of your life. And here is the beautiful part. Hard work compounds. The effort you make today doesn't disappear tomorrow. It stacks quietly like bricks, building the foundation of a powerful future. One brick may seem insignificant, but thousands of them create a fortress. And if you've ever felt discouraged because your progress seems slow, remember this: slow growth is still growth. Mountains are formed over centuries, yet once they rise, they stand unshakable. The same principle applies to your journey. What feels like small effort today is shaping the structure of your destiny tomorrow. But stay with me because the lessons ahead become even more powerful. In fact, the next truth will reveal something many people misunderstand completely, the real secret behind discipline, and why it is not about restriction, but about deep self-respect. If this idea of hard work already resonates with you, don't stop here. What comes next will help you understand how effort transforms into mastery and how ordinary people become extraordinary simply by choosing consistency over comfort. And trust me, if you miss the final lessons, you'll miss the moment where everything connects, the point where hard work, mindset, and purpose align to create a life that feels not only successful, but truly meaningful. There is a moment in every person's life when motivation fades, when the excitement of a new dream slowly quiets down, and when the initial spark that once felt so powerful begins to flicker in the winds of daily life. This is the moment where most people stop, not because they don't care anymore, but because they were relying on motivation to carry them forward. And motivation, beautiful as it is temporary. It comes like a wave, strong, emotional, high, and spear, but eventually it settles. That is where discipline quietly steps in. Discipline is not loud. It does not arrive with dramatic music or applause, but it is one of the most powerful forces you can ever powerful, but it because discipline is self-respect in action. Think about what it really means when you choose discipline. It means that even on the mornings when your alarm rings and every part of you wants to stay in bed, you still rise because you made a promise to yourself. It means that when distractions call your name, social media, comfort, procrastination, you still sit down and do the work that moves your life forward. In that moment, you are telling the universe something incredibly powerful. My future matters more than my temporary comfort. My future matters more than my temporary comfort. And that simple decision, repeated day after day, becomes the architecture of greatness. I remember observing people in highly demanding environments, athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, and the one pattern they all shared was not constant motivation, but consistent discipline. The athlete who trains in the rain when no one is watching. The musician who practices scales for hours even after performing on stage. The student who studies late into the night not because they enjoy the exhaustion, but because they value the person they are becoming through the process. Discipline is the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become tomorrow. Without it, dreams remain beautiful ideas floating in the imagination. With it, dreams slowly turn into reality. Imagine a river carving its way through solid rock. At first, the rock seems immovable, strong, unbreakable. But the river keeps flowing, day after day, year after year. The water does not attack the rock with force. It simply persists with consistency. Over time, that persistence shapes valleys, canyons, landscapes. Discipline works exactly like that river. It may feel small in the moment, a single workout, one extra hour of practice, one difficult choice to stay focused. But over time, it reshapes the entire terrain of your life. And there is something deeply spiritual about this process, something that connects effort with inner growth. Every act of discipline strengthens your relationship with yourself. When you keep the promises you make to your own goals, you begin to trust yourself more. Your confidence stops depending on outside validation and starts growing from within. That kind of confidence is powerful because it cannot be taken away by circumstances or opinions. It comes from knowing that you are capable of showing up for your own dreams, even when no one else is watching. And here is something important that many people misunderstand. Discipline is not about punishment or restriction. It is not about denying joy or living a rigid life. Discipline is about alignment. It is the art of choosing what truly matters over what simply feels easy in the moment. When you understand